In the vibrant town of Kijani, nestled between the sprawling green hills and the winding Mara River, life moved at a steady pace. The town was filled with traders, farmers, and herders, all living in harmony under the warm African sun. The people of Kijani were content, for they believed that hard work and patience were the only ways to prosperity. Among the many residents of Kijani was a young man named Mwangi. Mwangi was not like the other villagers. While most people in the town worked diligently and lived simple lives, Mwangi dreamt of wealth and riches beyond his wildest imagination. He did not have the patience for the slow and steady toil that others were content with. He wanted more, and he wanted it fast. Mwangi worked at the local market, selling trinkets, baskets, and second-hand goods to travelers who passed through the town. But every evening, after the sun had set and the market stalls were packed away, Mwangi would sit on the porch of his small, dilapidated home, dreaming of what life could be if only he had money. He often thought of the wealthy merchants who passed through Kijani, with their fine clothes and shiny wagons, and he envied them. One evening, as Mwangi sat under the starry sky, an old man appeared in the distance. He was dressed in tattered robes, and his face was hidden beneath a wide-brimmed hat. The old man walked slowly but with purpose, and his eyes gleamed with a strange, knowing light. As he passed by Mwangi's home, he stopped and looked directly at the young man. "Why do you look so troubled, my son?" The old man asked, his voice low and raspy. Mwangi, surprised by the sudden appearance of the old man, hesitated for a moment before speaking. "I dream of a better life," he confessed. "I am tired of struggling day by day. I want wealth and prosperity. But it seems no matter how hard I work, it is always out of reach." The old man chuckled softly and nodded. "Wealth does not come easily to those who follow the straight path, Mwangi. But there are other ways to attain it. Paths that only a few dare to take." Mwangi's eyes lit up with curiosity. "What do you mean? Is there a way to become rich without waiting for years?" The old man leaned closer, his voice barely more than a whisper. "There is a way, a golden path that few know of. It is dangerous, but for those willing to take the risk, it leads to unimaginable wealth." Mwangi's heart pounded in his chest. He was intrigued but cautious. "What do I have to do?" The old man smiled, revealing crooked teeth. "There is a cave, deep within the forest to the east of Kijani. It is hidden from the eyes of ordinary men. Inside, you will find treasures beyond your dreams. But beware, the cave has its price. Greed will be your downfall if you are not careful." Before Mwangi could ask any more questions, the old man turned and disappeared into the night, leaving Mwangi with a strange feeling of excitement and fear. The next morning, Mwangi could not shake the old man's words from his mind. He had always wanted to be rich, but the idea of finding treasure in a cave seemed too good to be true. And yet, something pulled at him, a force stronger than reason, urging him to take the risk without telling anyone. Mwangi set off toward the eastern forest. Strange noises echoed through the trees, and shadows seemed to move with him as he ventured deeper into the unknown. After hours of walking, Mwangi finally came upon a large, moss-covered boulder that blocked the entrance to a cave. Just as the old man had said, it was hidden from sight. With a trembling hand, Mwangi pushed the boulder aside and entered the cave. Inside, the air was damp and cold, but the walls glittered with gold and precious gems. Mwangi's eyes widened as he saw piles of coins, diamonds, and rubies scattered across the ground. It was more wealth than he had ever imagined. His heart raced with excitement as he rushed forward, scooping up handfuls of gold and stuffing them into his sack. "This is it," Mwangi thought, his face beaming with joy. "This is my ticket to a better life." As Mwangi continued to fill his sack, a voice echoed through the cave, startling him. It was low, deep, and almost otherworldly. "Take only what you need, Mwangi, and leave the rest." Mwangi froze, his pulse quickening. He looked around but saw no one. "Who's there?" he called out, his voice trembling. There was no reply. Only the sound of his own breathing and the faint drip of water from the cave ceiling. Mwangi hesitated for a moment, then dismissed the voice as his imagination. He had come all this way for wealth, why stop now? His greed took over, and he began to fill his sack even more. The voice echoed again, this time louder and more urgent. Take only what you need, Mwangi, or you will pay the price. But Mwangi, consumed by the thought of unimaginable riches, ignored the warning. He piled gold and jewels into his sack until it was too heavy to carry. His arms ached and his back strained under the weight, but he didn't care. He was rich now. His life was about to change. As he turned to leave the cave, the ground beneath his feet began to tremble. The walls of the cave groaned, and the entrance, which had been clear moments ago, was now blocked by a wall of solid rock. Panic surged through Mwangi's veins. He dropped his sack and rushed to the entrance, desperately trying to push the rock away, but it wouldn't budge. He was trapped. Mwangi cried, his voice echoing through the cave. Please, let me out. But the only response was the chilling silence of the cave. The treasure that had once seemed so alluring now felt like a prison. Mwangi realized, too late, that he had been warned. Days passed and the people of Kijani began to wonder where Mwangi had gone. His absence was noticed at the market, and his small home sat empty, with the dust of neglect settling over it. His friends and neighbors searched the surrounding areas, but no one could find any trace of him. It was only an old man passing through the town one evening, who sat by the fire and shared the tale of a young man who had ventured into a cave seeking wealth but never returned. Greed, the old man said, shaking his head. It blinds even the wisest of men, and the price for greed is often more than one can bear. The people of Kijani never saw Mwangi again. Some say he perished in the cave, while others whisper that he still roams the forest, searching for a way out. And in the end, it had left him with nothing. And so, the legend of Mwangi and the Golden Path became a cautionary tale in Kijani. A story told by elders to remind the young that wealth gained through greed is a trap, and that there is no shortcut to true prosperity. As for Mwangi, no one truly knew his fate. But every now and then, travelers passing through the eastern forest would hear strange whispers carried on the wind, a warning to those who sought to take more than they deserved. And perhaps, somewhere deep within the earth, the cave still waits for the next fool willing to pay its terrible price. If you liked this story, do not forget to subscribe for more.